If you want to buy the best looking AMG Mercedes has ever created, then this is the one to get. It's not easy to make four-door sedans look good, but this one is absolutely stunning. This is a 2021 Mercedes AMG GT53, and there's not a single design flaw on this car. Actually, wait a second. This is not a real air vent, it's fake. Come on, Mercedes. The good news is, other than that glaring flaw, everything on this car is visually perfect. This is an intense looking front end with a grille that looks like teeth, aggressively eating up all the pavement in front of it. The lines on this car are absolutely beautiful with gorgeous curves. This is an AMG, so of course you're guaranteed speed, and this car looks the part. And you have beautiful 21-inch AMG wheels that go along with the rest of the look. No AMG is complete with nice looking tailpipes with AMG engraved on them. This car looks so good that I actually want to own one someday just because of the way it looks. This car backs up its looks with a strong power plant. This is not the most powerful variant. This is the AMG GT53 with 429 horsepower. The GT63S has a 4-liter V8 with 630 horsepower that's an absolute monster. But this engine is no joke. It can get you from 0 to 60 in a little over 4 seconds. What you're seeing under the hood is actually pretty complicated. This is a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6, but it's also got an electric supercharger, what Mercedes calls its mild hybrid system. And Mercedes and AMG makes it all work very beautifully. Let's listen to how that combination of gas and electric sound at startup. Not bad for a mild hybrid Mercedes engine. A V8 would absolutely be better, but you have the much more expensive GT63 for that. Inside you have typical Mercedes luxury with a very wide display that's split into 2 separate screens. You have a touchpad here to scroll through the different options. To change the drive modes, you just push up or down on this, and you can see it changing on the screen. In Sport Plus, everything turns red. And then as you change the menus, you can see in these other small displays that the color changes as well, along with the setting. In Sport Plus, the exhaust turns red. You can also push these buttons individually to change the modes. Pretty convenient. Because this is a high-tech Mercedes, you've got plenty of options to mess with. No AMG is complete without massaging seats. Needless to say, the seats in this car are absolutely amazing, especially when you have the massage turned on. And then in your fully supportive seats, you have a giant insert with AMG lettering on it. One nice thing Mercedes did is that with the gear shift lever, you can rest your palm on it and then go through all the menus using the touchpad. It just makes it easier. You have a track pace option on here with Circuit of the Americas loaded here. That's kind of nice. AMG Performance to give you all the stats in your car, things like horsepower and torque. Different themes to choose from. I think I'm going to pick the Experience. Looks nice. Nice looking digital gauges as well. This overhang here on top of your digital display looks a bit like a shelf, so additional storage if you'd like. You have a secret compartment here for small cups if you can fit them in there. These air vents look really cool. A jet turbine type look to it. My one big complaint is this plastic piece. It really takes away from the rest of the interior. It just doesn't look good and doesn't fit the rest of the car because everything else is so nicely designed. Just like with the fake vent on the outside, Mercedes comes this close to perfection and then drops the ball at the 1-yard line. Just like in the front, you've got great seats in the back. It's not a bench seat though, so only room for 2 people. In between the seats, you've got some space to store some stuff, put your phones here, charge them, and you have got a couple of cup holders. But the thing that holds the cups into place, you can actually remove to give you even more storage. Although you have AC vents in the back, you can't actually control your own temperature, which is weird because in a car like this that's this expensive, you just expect it to be there. With this hatchback design, you do have some space for storage in the back, but not a huge amount. One of the best features on this GT53 is the spoiler that you can push a button to raise up or down. If you drive this car in comfort mode, it's super quiet, typical vault-like Mercedes. You don't hear much. And if you have the massaging seats on, good luck staying awake. You're probably gonna pass out. That's why I would recommend driving this in Sport Plus. The exhaust gets louder, suspension gets stiffer, and it feels much more like an AMG. And then you're ready to go. Of course, my favorite thing about this AMG GT53 is how it looks from the outside, so I really wish there was a way for me to look at this car being driven. Obviously can't do that right now, but every time I see a GT53, I'm always taking a second, third, fourth glance. These are just absolutely gorgeous cars. This is a pretty complicated engineering setup Mercedes has created with the hybrid system, electric assist, all that stuff going on. But you wouldn't even know that Mercedes is doing all that in the background because everything is extremely smooth, power is efficiently delivered. This might as well just be a highly efficient gas engine. The paddle shifters work pretty well. You hear some crackles and pops if you downshift, which means you're gonna be downshifting a lot in Sport Plus. This is the car you'd want if you need some practicality, you wanna fit 3 other passengers, you want some trunk space, and most importantly, you want to drive in style because this is a really cool looking car. And even people that don't care about cars can appreciate the beauty of this one. This one isn't insanely fast. It's still a heavy car. 429 horsepower is not a huge amount, but it's still pretty quick. And I think this is the car that hits the sweet spot. It's not overly insane like the GT63S. For everyday driving, this is still very quick. A little over 4 seconds, 0 to 60. In Sport Plus, the transmission shifts harder, so that adds a bit to the driving experience, which is why I recommend driving in Sport Plus at all times because that's what an AMG is supposed to be like. This AMG GT53 is the one that I'd buy because it's still not quite as expensive as a used GT63. This one is not cheap. A used one is still gonna be high 60s, low 70s. But then you're getting an amazing looking car with really good performance. And it's an AMG that definitely stands out from the rest of the pack. It's got very exotic looks. The AMG GT53 is the one that I'd want to buy because it's the middle of the road. The 43 only has 362 horsepower. The 63 is insane with 630 horsepower. And as much fun as that car would be, it's also going to be really expensive. This one is in the middle. It's still not cheap. A used one like this would be in the high 60s, low 70s, but it's still an incredible car for that money because it looks so exotic. It has a supercar 4-door look to it. It stands out. It's different than the other AMGs, and you got more than enough performance with it. So this is definitely the AMG that you'd want that can do a little bit of everything. And best of all is you just don't see these AMG GTs much around anywhere. So you would definitely be driving around something unique and different. In terms of overall performance, the AMG GT53 is kind of in the middle of the pack. Not earth-shattering performance, but still pretty quick. If you're in the market for a used AMG, then this is one of the coolest looking high-performance sports sedans that you can buy. Big thanks to Covert Buick GMC for lending me this car to film a video on. Check them out if you're in the market for any used or new vehicle.